message is going to be for the collective. So this is a collective message. And God said, good, you feeding yourself, you taking care of yourself, and you know what? You ain't paying attention to nothing right now. And they want you to still pay attention. And I said, that's how you should be. Cut off the world and take your own mind and you know what? Just rest. And I said, yeah, that's what they do all the time. I don't even know if that's okay. Yeah, it's okay. Because that's what they supposed to do. Take a break. And that's what that person did here too. And when you took a break, it was really, you know what? A break from everything. And God said, they was looking like shit. I'm gonna do that too, boo. Shoot. You teaching me something. I said, shoot, that's my bitch. I fuck with you, boo. I fucks with you. You taking a break and you ain't paying attention to nothing. I said, yeah. I don't think supposed to do no. They ain't supposed to do nothing. And I said, that's what we know too. I said, y'all are asking people to forget about themselves and worry about everybody else. I said, I think they know that. I said, there's something about them that say they know too much. And God said, you are a high priest. You are a high priestess. And God is directing your footsteps. And God said, take up space. And they looking like, yeah, ain't that the truth? But you just doing what you supposed to do. And everybody is flabbergasted that you just doing what you supposed to do. And God said, that's what they know too, boo. They flabbergasted. And they can't say nothing bad about you. And I said, yeah, she don't like references. Because people are not to be trusted. And I said, I can get with that part too. I said, you can't trust people like this. And I said, don't we know it, boo? I said, I need to throw these references away. And I said, that's what they didn't tell somebody here too. The references. I said, yeah, y'all all did somebody a disservice. And God said, but they all gonna pay for it. Yep, we have thirsty is here. It says seeking attention, needing validation, desperate and pushy. And that's what you was dealing with, boo. People that need validation. I said, if this person really tells you how they really feel, it'll hurt your feelings and you may be crying. And God said, that's what they know here too. Yeah, receipts is here. It says evidence, guilty as charged and exposed. God says, shoot, they gonna be fired. Because they the ones who was doing a multitude of things and acting as though like no one is going to do their own investigation. But we did, boo. We investigated a multitude of things. And I said, yeah, but we can't alert somebody else that that's what we are doing. And that's someone's truth. I said, shoot, that one got way more experience than that one. And I said, this one knows how to communicate effectively. And I said, they don't communicate like this when you ain't around. And they said, I know that too. And God said, pay attention, boo. Light bulb moment is here. It says sudden realization, feeling inspired, and insightful awareness. God says, shoo, every time somebody, you know what, get like this and get like that, a multitude of things started transpiring. And I said, yeah, I guess her drugs started, you know what, leveling out here, boo. I said, a lot of people is really out there. And I said, ain't no way in hell this supposed to be going down the way that it's going down. But they really want to see what someone else is going to say about something. And God said, they ain't said nothing. And that's someone's truth. So a lot of people is putting on an act or putting on a circus just to see what one particular person will say. And I said, they don't care. And I said, dang, that's not good. See? And they met you and they don't even know what to do with you, boo. Because you don't care. And God said, ain't that the truth? They said, shoot, you ain't single. Or are you? And Grandma said, that's what you need to pay attention to here too. We have petty and cuffing season coming out in reverse. So God says, sure, you be staying focused and you do everything that you need to do. And Grandma said, and you don't wander around and just randomly knock on people's doors and randomly raising up your shirt and do this and do that. You don't randomly do toxic things, but other people has been doing that. And that's what you need to be aware of here too. Siren call. It says sexual tactics, gaining attention and lured by temptation. God says, shoo. She be sliding notes up under people's doors too. And they said, y'all need to let her go. Because she's losing control. Because he's losing control. Grandma said that's what is going on here, boo. The control of thyself is gone. And that's someone's truth here too. Tell me more. Yeah, we have dreams, seeds, and springets here. Dang, all these cards just flipped over, y'all. We have assistance and spirit guides is here. Coming out with thoughts and isolating. It says self-love, creation, and intentions. Family, home, and commitment. We have renewal is here. Destiny, retreat, or timeout. We have avoidance and stalemate. I'm going to read them all. I don't care. And this says reflection and projection. And then we have reunion and soul tie. And then it says healing and inner child here too. God says, shoot, you got a lot going on, boo. And we don't know which way, you know what, to carry you next. But God said you are still on your spiritual pathway. For those of you who are high priestess and high priest, and those of you who are star seeds, those of you who have signed up, you know, to awaken those on their spiritual pathway, this is not your life. You are put in certain positions to help and assist others. And God said that's what you need to be aware of here too. And you might be a little bit irritated because it's not your life. And it's not the lives of your family members either. Sometimes when you are a healer, you come from a family of healers. And y'all lives are meant to help and assist those who is on this planet Earth to go down their own spiritual pathway. That's what you signed up for, baby. I know, that's irritating. And God said, but you're going to get better. And you're going to be put at a certain type of pedestal. And you're not going to know how you got there, but you're going to get there. And God said, pay attention, boo. Decisions is here. So you ain't indecisive, but you are trying to get something. And that's what they know. And a lot of people are looking like, yeah, I'll never give you, you know what, this and that and all this other stuff and everything. Because you know what, you do this and you do that, but you don't do nothing. See? It's the attitudes and the cattiness of people where references, they unreliable, especially a drug head. They unreliable. And God said that's what you need to know here too. Unreliable people, boo. This fell out in reverse. It says, I think of you at night when the world is asleep and my mind is awake. So someone is not even thinking of you, boo. You need to know that. Yeah, it says, I need to free myself from fear and doubt. I am a caged bird. It says, I know that you may not feel the same as I do for you. Yeah, it says, I feel cold and detached from this connection. It says, I can't feel emotions right now because they on drugs. And that's what you need to know here, too. Someone decided to start doing their drugs super early in the morning. Yeah, it says, I pushed you okay away because I don't want the responsibility. Someone wants you to, you know what, just throw your hands up and, you know what, quit a situation. That's what they are begging for. See? But the whole thing is, you're not doing that. And God said, this is what is really baffling them here, too. Yeah, it says, this connection bores me to death. I need some more excitement. So you're not exciting enough for these people or this situation. And that's what you need to know, boo. You look like you should be exciting, but you ain't. And they don't know what to say about that situation here, too. Tell me more for the collective. Yeah, we have the Wheel of Fortunates here. So it says fate, positive changes, cycle, and yeah, changes. So there's something that's shifting here, okay? Something that's going to uh be rectified, okay? Ramifications is here too as well. Yeah, we have the Moon. So, like I said, something is being done in secret, okay? Someone is not knowing that other people have um the inside track about certain things here too. Like I said, some of you guys are high priestesses and high priests, but the whole thing is that someone is investigating something and saying, you know what, you ain't a part of nothing and you don't have nothing to do with any of this. And God said, that's what they know here too. I say, yeah, they didn't do that. You wasn't even around, boo. Yeah, we have the Four of Cups energy. See, it's like, you know, people wish you was around at the time so they can put the bulk of everything that is going wrong on you, but they can't. And that's your truth here too. Yeah, the Four of Cups energy is here. Yeah, the Queen of Swords energy. You tell the truth. And they know that. See, you don't misguide no one. You tell people what they need to know, and they have witnessed that too. They say, yeah, you tell people the truth. And God said, that's good. See, a lot of people love to mislead and misguide information with people and act like it's okay. You know, I've been in property management for 9 years, and what I have seen is people will bring me like blank money orders, and I always educate them. Don't never give a property manager blank money orders. You're supposed to fill out that fill out the money order, you know, and that's to protect their money, you know. And God said that's what people need to understand here too. A lot of people don't want to give people the inside track on how to do things thoroughly so they won't get in trouble or they won't be held accountable. They want to keep on having someone constantly do something over and over again to make them feel inadequate, to just cause a ruckus. And God said, you don't do that. You want to get shit done and over with. And that's what they have noticed about you here too. Getting shit done and taking care of shit. And Grandma said, that's what you need to know, boo. Yeah, the Knight of Swords energy is here. Someone is saying, you know what? They're going to have some handcuffs on them pretty soon. And God said, another check has bounced. And these checks shouldn't be bouncing at all. And everyone is looking like, yeah, that's because they have already been deposited somewhere else. And then they go ahead and run it, okay, in the air and the space and act like it's okay. check fraud is here. Yeah, the Queen of Cups energy is here. It says compassionate, warmth, healer, intuition, supportive. Yeah, and the healer. So someone needs to know that. Tell me more for the collective. Yeah, it says your practicality is helping. It says this situation requires all your energy and time. It says there is not enough confidence to fuel this situation. And then it says brand new stable beginning. Overall energy, the now. So something that's happening in the present state of things. Tell me more for the collective. So we have 4 cards coming out, and I'm going to read all of them. Shoot. It says Archangel Michael. It says, I am with you, giving you the courage to make life changes that will help you work on your divine life purpose. We have Merlina. It says, you are confused and indecisive because you do not have enough information. It says, do your research or seek expert advice before making a decision. And then we have Akasha. It says, you are a spiritual teacher, which a lot of you are. And y'all signed up to be, you know what, put in certain places and certain situations to awaken people. So it says you are a spiritual teacher. You have the ability to counsel others and help them, awaken their spiritual gifts and divine life's mission. So you was put in the position to help others, boo. And that's why your life, may be not what you want. Because me, all I want to be is in the house with all my children, cooking and cleaning, and you know what, just doing my readings, and that's it. I don't want to do nothing else. Oh, and have a husband, and that's it. Now I want peace and peace of mind. I don't want nothing else. Yeah, we have Isaiah is here. It says it's a good time to give birth to new ideas and situations in your life. It says, I am watching over you, guiding you, and protecting you during these changes. Overall energy, Ariel is here. It says new psychic and spiritual experiences are changing the way you view the world and yourself. Allow your spiritual gifts to open through study, prayer, and meditation. A lot of you guys are on your spiritual quest, you're on your north node. A lot of y'all may be Scorpio north nodes too. So you meant to confirmation, you meant to help others. And you might be getting pissed because it's not the way you want your life to go. But God says, sure, this is what you're supposed to be doing. ain't that about a bee? True. This is what you're supposed to be doing. It's not fun, boo. So take care.